All right. In this presentation, wave will be discussed. So, a wave is a propagating periodic disturbance or vibration that travels through space and time, transferring energy from one location to another without transporting matter. Waves can be periodic, that is, in repeating cycles or pulses, and they occur in both physical mediums, that is, solid, liquid, or gas, and electromagnetic field, such as in vacuum. In the figure shown, we see a situation in which a surface is being thumped by a hand. This thumping will cause vibration of the solid particles of this surface, which as a consequence, this vibration will be transferred to the surrounding air molecules in a periodic manner, which is actually sound wave, which our eardrum interprets as sound. The key characteristic of waves is that there is energy transfer by the vibration of the particles, okay, either solid, liquid, or gas. However, these particles do not transfer location, they just vibrate or move about their original location. Okay, that vibration is what we call oscillation. Okay, that vibration happen or occur in their equilibrium or resting position or initial position. Okay, the medium, as said a while ago, is either solid, liquid, or gas, from which in the figure we say that the medium we have is from solid to gas. Okay, now wave propagation is influenced by the medium in which they are traveling through. Okay, it is said to be that waves travel fastest in solids, while it is slower in liquids and slowest in gas, due to the fact that the arrangement of molecules of these phases differ from each other. It is much more compact in solid than in gases. The parts of a wave consist of crest and trough, in which we see in the figure, crest is the highest points of a wave, contrary to a trough being the lowest. Now, the vertical distance from the horizontal line to the crest or to the trough is what we call amplitude. The horizontal line we see is what we call the equilibrium position, right? The wavelength is the horizontal distance between consecutive corresponding points. Okay? It could be from crest to crest, or from trough to trough, or from a certain point to the corresponding point, as we see in the figure, right? That is wavelength, represented by lambda. Now, the frequency is simply the number of waves occurring in a given period of time. Okay, and period is of course time. Okay, or the time it takes for one complete cycle of the wave to pass. So that is period. In these images, we see the distinction between high frequency wave and that of low frequency wave. We see that there are more waves happening or occurring in a given period of time in high frequency wave as opposed to low frequency wave. For instance, we project the period in the low frequency to high frequency. We will conclude, we can infer that there will be more waves happening in the given period, right? So that is high frequency and low frequency wave. High frequency waves is characterized by a high pitch sound, while that of low frequency is characterized as low pitch sound. Okay, it's either being loud or quiet, respectively. The manner by which the waves travel, we can have these types of waves. It's either mechanical or electromagnetic waves. We say it is mechanical wave if the wave travels through a physical medium, either solid, liquid, or gas. Whereas it is said to be electromagnetic wave if such wave travel in a vacuum, right? Now, as to the motion of the waves, it can be classified into these uh, types as transverse, longitudinal, and surface waves. Now, longitudinal waves, as we see, is one in which the oscillation or vibration is parallel to the direction of wave. The oscillation or vibration, as we see in the figure, is characterized as uh, compression or expansion of the waves. Okay, whereas in transverse waves, the oscillation is perpendicular or normal to the direction of wave. Okay, so that is the distinction between the two. Whereas surface waves are waves that are a combination of longitudinal and transverse. Okay, an example of which is water waves. Okay, in which here we see that the wave particle is represented by this brown object, though we see a displacement of the brown object. This same brown object actually goes back to its initial position. Okay, so there is no um, transfer of matter as the cycle is completed. Okay, example of mechanical waves are ocean waves, water ripples, sound waves, seismic waves, vibrating string, and slinky wave. Okay, here are classifications of seismic waves. Of course, seismic waves are those that are from earthquakes. Okay, in body waves, we have either P wave or S waves, as characterized by either expansion or compression in P wave, and in S wave we can see that there is a transverse movement or transverse oscillation. Okay, whereas for surface wave we have Rayleigh wave and love wave. In this slide we see images depicting how waves affect our lives. In the top left, we see a surfer enjoying a wave, whereas in the rest of the images, we see the drastic impact of the waves. in our lives. Okay. On the top right, we see a wave from a tsunami. Okay. Whereas in other images, infrastructure are damaged to the point of collapse as caused by seismic waves. Now, in this slide, we can determine the speed or velocity of wave depending on which medium it is traveling through. If we are dealing with a string, the speed of the wave can be computed from the square root of t divided by mu, in which t is the tension in the string and mu is the linear density or mass per unit length. From the formula, it can be seen that the velocity or the speed increases as tension is increased, while mu is inversely proportional to the speed. Okay. For solids, the speed of wave is computed as the square root of y divided by rho, y being the Young's modulus of elasticity and rho is the density of the material. For a steel, for example, sound travels quite quickly. It is 5,000 meter per seconds, as opposed to in liquids, sound travels at approximately 1,476 meter per seconds. The speed can be computed by getting the square root of capital B divided by rho, B being the bulk modulus or the resistance to compression, and rho is density. Now for gases, it can be computed by getting the square root of gamma RT divided by M, where gamma is the adiabatic index, R is the gas constant, T is the temperature, M is the molar mass. Okay. In gases, specifically for air, at 20 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound is roughly 343 meter per seconds. Okay, here are some examples for you to solve. Okay. Okay, we now solve the examples given in the presentation. And this first one is about determining the wavelength of the note given with a frequency of 440 Hertz. The speed of sound in air at room temperature is also given. So the wavelength is equal to velocity multiplied by that of period. Of course, this is taken from distance equals velocity times time. We also have to note that frequency is equal to the inverse of period, right? Or period is the inverse of frequency. Okay. Hence, we can immediately solve for the wavelength lambda by substituting the given velocity, which is 347 meter per seconds, and that of the period, which is 1 divided by 440 Hertz. We'll get a value of 0.0 0.789 meters. Okay, since we have a unit of meter per seconds here and a unit of seconds here in period, this will cancel out. Okay, so this is the wavelength. For the next example, we are asked of the speed of the transverse wave along a steel violin string that is 75 centimeter long and with a diameter of 0.5 mm. The tension is given equal to 200 newtons. Okay, and the density of the steel is also given, as well as the modulus of elasticity. Okay, the velocity in a string can be computed from the formula velocity v equal to the square root of t divided by mu. Of course, t is the tension and mu is the mass per unit length. Okay, the tension is given as 200 newtons, and we have to determine the equivalent mu, or mass per unit length. That is mu equal to density multiplied by the area. Okay, the unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter. If we multiply this by the area, which is in square meters, we'll get a unit which is kilogram per meter, which is actually the unit for mu, right? So then mu is 7,800 kilogram per cubic meter multiplied by the area. Okay, the area should be in meter square also, so that the units will cancel out. Okay, so we have the area as pi divided by 4 multiplied by the diameter, which is 0.5 mm. Okay, we convert this to meters. 1,000 mm in 1 meter. This will cancel out. Square. Okay, so we'll get a value here of 0.0015 kilogram per meter. Okay, now substituting this mu here, we then get the speed as equal to the square root of 200 newtons divided by 0.0015 kilogram per meter. We'll get a value of 361.37 meter per seconds, right? Okay, the third example is satisfying item A, B, and C. In item A, you are asked of the speed of the transverse waves in the wire. Okay, similarly, we can determine this by applying the same formula that of applicable in string. Okay, the tension is given to be 961 newtons, and that mu is the mass per unit length. Okay, so we'll get mu, okay, by the mass per unit length, that is the mass being 5 grams. We convert this to kilograms, okay, divided by the length, which is 1.4 meters. We'll get a value of 0.00357 kilogram per meter. Okay, we simply have to substitute this here, so that we'll get this expression 968 divided by 0.00357. We'll get the value of 520.615 meter per seconds. Say we store this in memory F. Alright, in item B, we are asked of the wavelength and frequency of the fundamental harmonic. To solve this, we have to remember that segment length is equal to the half of the wavelength, and that the relationship between the total length and wavelength as well as segment length will be length, okay, the length of the string equal to the number of segments multiplied by lambda over 2, right? Okay, so we have in this example a length of 1.4 meters, okay, and the number of segment is equal to 1, for the reason that this is the fundamental harmonic, or the first harmonic. Okay, so we have this expression from which we'll solve lambda, the wavelength, as equal to 2.8 meters, right? And the frequency is then determined from this formula, that lambda is equal to the velocity multiplied by the period t. Okay, so we have lambda is equal to 2.8 and the velocity is equal to 520.615. Of course, the frequency, which is the inverse of period, 1 divided by f. Let us say this is f1. Okay, so f1 is 185.93 hertz, right? Now in letter C, let us just have it here. Letter C, we are asked of the frequency of the first and second overtones. Actually, the first overtone is the second harmonic, and the second overtone is the third harmonic. Meaning to say, for the first overtone, there are two segments, right? There are two segments in which then from this relationship we have 1.4 as the length, we have 2 as the number of segments, and lambda divided by 2, from which lambda is determined as 1.4 meters. Okay, and that similarly the frequency can be determined from lambda equal to velocity multiplied by the period, which is the inverse of frequency. So we have in here 1.4 as the lambda, 520.615 as the velocity, and 1 divided by, say, frequency 2 as the period, from which f2 is determined. We'll get a value of 371.87 hertz, right? Okay. Now for the second overtone, in which this actually is the third harmonic, in which n is equal to 3, there are 3 segments. Okay, we'll solve lambda from this relationship again, that is 1.4 as the length of the string, and we have 3 segments multiplied by lambda divided by 2, from which lambda is equal to 0.933 meters. Okay, so lambda 0.933 equal to the velocity 520.615, and let us say this to be f3. So f3 now is equal to 557.80 hertz, right? So from here we can see that the number of frequency do reflect the number of segments. Okay, now in this example we are asked to determine the speed of sound through a copper. Okay, so we will be dealing with a solid in here, from which we can determine the speed. By remembering the formula when dealing with solids, that is the square root of the Young's modulus of elasticity divided by the density. Okay, immediately we can solve this by simply substituting the values. Okay, the values are, or the units are consistent, so simply we have 11 times 10 raised to 10, okay, Newton per square meters divided by 8.9 times 10 cube kilogram per cubic meter. So we'll get a value of 3,515.615 meter per seconds. In here we have to determine the speed in a medium that is gas, and so the velocity for a situation in which the medium is gas is the square root of this. We have gamma R T divided by M. Okay. From references, the specific heat ratio of air is 1.5. 1.4. Okay. Whereas the constant is 8.315 joule per mole Kelvin, okay, multiplied by the absolute temperature, which in this case 25 plus 273. Okay, so we have 298 Kelvin divided by the molar mass, which is 28.8 times 10 negative 3 kilogram per mole. Of course, these values will be given during examinations or quizzes. Okay, so we'll get a value here of 347.02 meter per seconds. Moving on to the next example, we need to calculate the threshold of pain. The appropriate formula to determine the threshold of pain is this formula. The intensity level in decibel equal to 10 multiplied by the log of intensity and the threshold of hearing, which is I sub O. Okay, so we have 10 log, so 1 watt per square meters divided by 1 times 10 negative 12. Okay. We'll get here a value of 120 decibels. Okay. Now, the last example, as of the intensity that corresponds to the sound of a whisper, which is 30 decibels. Okay. Similarly, the same formula is to be applied here. Okay, 10 log I divided by I sub O. Okay, so we have 30 decibels, 10 log, and then the intensity corresponding to the intensity level of 30 decibels and the threshold of hearing, which is 1 times 10 to the negative 12. Okay. Now to determine I, we have to divide both sides of the equation by 10. Okay. So we have 3 log I and 1 times 10 negative 12. And from this relationship, log that we can then write ten raised to 3 I negative 12, from which I is solved as 1 times 10 negative 9. Okay.